Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Teacher Education Applicant Reception. All of us here are so grateful to see virtually you here tonight and to learn a little bit more about your next steps to coming to Trent in the fall. My name is Zach Davidson. I'm one of the enrollment advisors for Trent University, and I will be your host tonight. Joining me is a group of excellent panelists who are here to talk all things about teacher education. So to my left is a former student of the teacher education program, Justin. Justin, welcome. Thank you for having us here tonight. We also have our Dean of Education, Claire Mooney. Claire, thank you for joining us this evening. We also have our Education Enrollment Advisor, Kathleen Crook. Kathleen, thank you. Kathleen is also going to be helping me out tonight with the presentation. Also, we have here joining us is Rich McPherson. Rich, thank you so much for coming in tonight. Rich is the Knowledge Mobilization Education Coordinator. Did I get that one right? Nice, nice. So he will be here to answer any questions that you folks may have. And he's also going to be our game show host for the Kahoot quiz. So we're very excited about that. And then last but certainly not least, we have Adrian Ash, who is the program manager of the School of Education. Adrian will also be answering questions as well as being a joint game show host with Rich on the Kahoot later on. So with those introductions, I'm going to just do a quick rundown of the night. So we're first going to start off with our Dean of Education, Claire, who will be welcoming everybody and just talking a little bit more about the program. Following that, we're going to hear from Justin about his experience in the teacher education stream program. Afterwards, we're going to get into that great Kahoot quiz. And then finally, we're going to end off with our next steps presentation, which myself and Kathleen will be presenting on. So that next step presentation is going to have a lot of important and relevant information for you folks to know about making those next steps towards coming to Trent in the fall. For you folks out there that do have any questions, which I'm sure a lot of you do, please feel free to ask those questions down at the bottom of your screen there in that little Q&A box. And if you do ask your questions throughout the session, we will be able to then answer them. Also, after this presentation, we're actually going to be having 2 virtual tours take place for both of our campuses, so both for the Peterborough and the Durham campus. That's going to be starting at around 8:30. So if you haven't registered for those campus tours already, we will be posting the links here shortly to be able to register for those. And of course, I couldn't forget about this point. If anyone is interested in accepting their offer tonight, you are able to do so. And if you choose to accept your offer tonight, we will be sending you a lovely gift. I'm pretty sure it's one of our famous scarves that we love to give out to prospective students. So all you have to do to accept that offer is send admissions@trentu.ca an email. Include in that email address your first name, your last name, the program that you wanted to accept, applicant reception, and your student ID number. As long as you submit all of that information in that email, we'll be able to accept your offer on your behalf and make sure you get one of those lovely scarves. So I think that's all I have to say with little introductions here. So I'm now going to turn it over to Claire. Claire, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Zach. And if anybody here who knows me, it's don't give me the floor because I'll be here all night. So I'm going to try and keep it fairly brief. I've got some points here that I want to touch on. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. As you know, Claire, I'm the Acting Dean of Education in the School of Education, and I teach mathematics education on the BEd program, and I also teach the undergraduate program, which I think is the one that we're interested in tonight, the teacher education stream. And within that program, I've been historically teaching first years, which is just so much fun, and I think a bit of a privilege actually. It's great having first year students to teach. So I'm within the School of Education, but the School of Education has basically 5 different things that we do. So the teacher education stream program, the undergraduate program, which is say the one that I think we're all interested in now, is the program that we kind of start with, if we want to look at a starting point. After that, we have a BEd program. I'll come back to the Indigenous BEd in a second. The BEd program, if you have an average of 85% overall as an undergraduate, you get direct admission to our BEd program. So that's something you might want to bear in mind. We have the MEd program, so the Master of Education program. We have additional qualification courses for qualified teachers. And we also have an Indigenous Bachelor of Education program, which is a ConEd program. So if you're a self-identified Indigenous student, you can start in our ConEd program rather than doing an undergrad and then applying for a BEd. As a self-identified Indigenous student, you might choose to enter actually as an undergraduate into the ConEd program and do your undergraduate years within the Indigenous Bachelor of Education program, and then follow it up with your professional years in the Bachelor of Education professional years alongside the other teacher candidates. So the two things really for undergrads are the Indigenous Bachelor of Education and the teacher education stream. So that's what we'll focus on today. And so I'm going to focus on the teacher education stream, and I'll give you a quick overview and then we'll talk about the first year. So the teacher education stream runs alongside whatever your major is going to be throughout your undergraduate years. So when you're coming into Trent, you'll be applying, and you probably have already applied for teacher education stream, and we ask you nominally to say whether you're looking at the arts or the sciences. That can change later on, so don't get too hung up or worried about that bit. So you apply for teacher education stream, you accept your offer, then what? Well, you arrive at Trent, and in your first year with us, you'll take a course in your first semester and your second semester in education studies. And in each of those courses, half of the time you will be in the university studying in class with us. And for the other half of the time, you will be on a placement. Now that placement can be absolutely anywhere that education takes place. It's not like when you're doing a BEd. When you're doing a BEd, we are really horrible. We say, you will go there, you will teach those students, and there's no debate about it. But for the undergraduate program, we want you to really get a feel for what it is to be an educator. You know, what is it that excites you and interests you, and you want to be able to make the right decisions when you come to do a BEd. And so you might think, hold it, I want to teach kindergarten. It's what I've always wanted to do. And then you try a kindergarten classroom, and then you go, well, I'll just go and have a look at intermediate to see what that's like. And suddenly you think, hold it, intermediate's rather good. Or actually, I always thought I wanted to teach, grade 12 history, but I've been in a kindergarten class now, and that's where my passion is. So you might be doing that. You might go and do a placement with a museum education service and discover that actually your passion as an educator isn't going to be in a school classroom, but it's actually going to be somewhere completely different. And so those opportunities are things that you can pursue as part of this program. So that's the joy of it. You can go to a preschool environment, you could go and work with seniors with the kind of educational programming that continues throughout life. So we look at education as a lifelong piece, and we encourage you within this program to actually explore that. So we start that in your very first year. You're half the time when you're doing our courses in the university, and the other half on a placement that you can set up. Now, what many of our undergraduate students choose to do actually is spend their reading breaks. Very cleverly, they say, I'll devote my reading break to the placement component. Which means that I've got a slightly easier time in the rest of during the rest of the semester. And if you want to do that, that's absolutely fine. And if you want to do that by saying, I'm going to go home for reading break and set that placement up there, you can do that. You don't have to be based in Peterborough or Durham for that to happen. So that's what the course will look like in your first year, and it will look the same in your second year, and it will look the same in your fourth year. The one difference is in the third year. In the third year, there's only one course, not two. And that was quite a deliberate, it wasn't a mistake, it was quite a deliberate idea. And in the third year, you can either choose to stay in Peterborough or Durham, so staying at Trent to complete your studies. And during that time, you'll take that one course. Or you might choose to go and study abroad. Now, obviously, that's been a bit of a challenge for people this last year, but by the time your third years, we're hopeful that the world will be a slightly different place again. And so the opportunity to go and study abroad is something incredible that you can bring back to any class of kids. And You might say, well, I'm a bit concerned about going and studying abroad because I don't speak another language. And yeah, that would be concerning. But we do have partner universities around the world. So we have them in Australia and the UK and the US where, obviously they're speaking English. But we also have universities in other countries, in Scandinavian countries, in Germany and so forth, where they have English courses, courses that are taught through English. So they might be, a history course, but taught through English. Or there's one in Finland, I think it's a great one, of outdoor education, a whole kind of semester of outdoor education taught in English, that you could go and access. At the same time, you're immersing yourself in a different culture and a different language to live. So that's another great opportunity for third year students. So throughout the program, you can choose to, stay in Durham, stay in Peterborough, take all of your courses like that, or you could take a third year course. And particularly for those of you who are studying French or looking to study French and thinking you might want to become a French teacher, then you could take your third year in Nantes in France, which is a beautiful place to go, and the food is fabulous, just saying. So yeah, and you come back with just a certain kind of refinement and polish to the French. So it's great. So I think that's the overview of the teacher education stream, and I'm sure other people will fill you in if I've forgotten things. And I think I've talked about your first year. I'm keeping an eye on the time because I keep talking. Sorry. So the fall semester, what's that going to look like? And that's the how long's a piece of string question, isn't it, really? But at Trent, we are committed as a small, primarily undergraduate university. We are really a face-to-face university. That's how we operate best. We are an in-person university, and our commitment for September is to try to be as in-person as possible. We believe that next year is going to look very different to this year. This year we were pretty much remote. There were some labs taking place and very few courses taking place on campus, but we were pretty much remote. From September, we are aiming to be back in person, back on campus. Now, obviously, there is a caveat there that we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but we are currently very optimistic that with a successful vaccine rollout and with just the way things are developing now currently, that we will be able to be back in person in September. So that's what we're aiming for. Obviously, I can't promise, but that's our intention. So why this program and why Trent? And those are kind of interesting questions, I think. You could say, why should I do this and not go and do a Con Ed program somewhere else? What's the difference? And for me, there's a crucial difference, actually, that if you were to go and do a Con Ed program, and there's some great Con Ed programs out there, I'm not saying anything untoward about that. We have a Con Ed program ourselves. But with a Con Ed program, a traditional Con Ed program, if you're taking courses in education, those will count towards your B.Ed later on. They're not your undergraduate courses, really. Our undergraduate courses in education are part of your undergraduate credits. So if you get to the end of your third year and you say, yeah, really, I don't think I want to be a teacher, that's absolutely fine. We say to you, that's great. You've had a great opportunity to explore this, to reflect upon your learning and to make that decision. And that's great. And we will wish you well in whatever it is you decide you want to do. And those credits that you've got by the end of your third year, you'll have 2.5 credits in education studies. They're yours. They're on your transcript for your undergraduate degree. They form part of your 20 undergraduate credits. And we think that that's really important, that you've done the studying, you've got the credit for that work. And so that's why we think this is a really excellent program. That's why we're very committed to this as a model of studying for undergraduate education. And at Trent, the joy of coming to Trent, I think, is that you can come as a teacher education stream student. You don't come saying, I'm a biologist, I'm a historian, I'm a mathematician, I'm a physicist. You might think that you are, and you might know that that's what you're going to do, but you're not committed to that now. You can come in undeclared. You can say, yep, I'm really not convinced I know what I want to do for my major. And you come in and you take a sort of Renaissance year where you study some of this and some of that. And you think, I think I did a course in, I don't know, psychology at high school. I want to try that. So you study some psychology and you say, well, I think I want to know a little bit more about how society functions, particularly within education, because I want to be a teacher. So you take some sociology. But at the same time, you might say, well, I'm kind of interested in the arts more broadly. So you go and look at cultural studies, which is where you'll find all of our arts courses. And a little hint about cultural studies, if you find anything identified as workshop, that means it literally is. So if it's a drama workshop, you won't be talking about it and reading scripts, you will be performing in your class. So you'll be doing things very practically based. If it's a workshop in art or ecological art, there's a great new course there in ecological art where you literally are making art. So if you're interested in the arts, have a look at cultural studies. Try, if you think you want to be a biologist, try biology, or a chemist, try chemistry. I, as a mathematician, obviously recommend everybody does some math, but that's what you can do. You can try it all out. And then you find that thing, yes, it reinforces for you, I do want to study history. I thought I did, and now I know I do. Or you can say, oh, I thought I wanted to study physics, but now actually I'm studying politics, and that's okay. So it's a great opportunity at Trent. The interdisciplinary nature of what we do and the way that our degrees are structured allows for you to have that time to really explore what it is that you are passionate about, so that you're not committing right from day one to something and putting yourself on a path that you can't change. You can absolutely change that, and we'll be here to support you if you need to do that. So coming in undeclared is absolutely fine and frequently encouraged, actually, so that you can make sure that you make those right decisions. So what happens when you've been to Trent? Okay, I'm moving on towards Justin now. Justin, I'm just going to cue you in here to say that we're getting there. So once you've done the teacher education stream, then what? Well, you might just choose to graduate and say, I've had great experiences here. I'm going to go and gain employment. And again, it might be in a zoo. I've had students do placements in zoos, in education departments, a museum. Or you might say, I'm going to do a B.Ed, and a lot of teacher education stream students do go on and study for a B.Ed, and many of them with us, but others go and study elsewhere. Some go and study elsewhere in Canada, from coast to coast. This year I know students who literally are going from BC to Nova Scotia. So they've done all of their education to date in Ontario, and they've decided now that they want to kind of broaden their perspective, even though I think many of them have actually got guaranteed admission, the ones who I know who are going, but that's great. They're really well qualified students off to go and study elsewhere now for their B.Ed. Others I know who are going to study internationally to train as teachers. So that's another option later on. So you could go and do that, but then you become a teacher, and we have got this year, I think, we talk about, successful alumni. I think this year, anybody who is a teacher in the circumstances in which we find ourselves this year, all of our alumni are highly successful to be teachers this year, to be teachers who've moved from we're in class, now we're remote, now we're in class, now I'm both. And they've just responded, with such grace and compassion throughout the year. So I think I will confidently say that all of our alumni are highly, highly successful. Beyond that, they're not all classroom teachers. There are people who are teaching in colleges, people who are teaching in universities. So I said before about people in zoos and museums, and people working in TV, and people working all over the place. And I want to introduce you now to one of our successful alumni, to Justin, he is a Trent grad, he's a teacher, and he is so much more. And I'm going to let him talk to you about all of those things and the so much more. And I had the privilege of teaching Justin when he was here at Trent. So welcome, Justin, and I'll pass it over to you.
Yes, thank you. So my name's Justin Heenan. Like Claire said, I'm a graduate of Trent University in the B.Ed program. I graduated in 2017. I didn't do my undergrad at Trent, and that's something I actually regret. I wish I had come to Trent earlier because I had such a positive experience at Trent. And one of the things, Claire, that you mentioned that I really appreciate is that students that come through the education program don't necessarily go into the classroom. There's lots of different options for Trent graduates. And although I am a permanent teacher with the Durham District School Board, I also do things outside of the classroom that are related to education. So after my teaching degree, I actually went and got a master's degree online while teaching in the classroom more traditionally. And my master's degree was in counseling psychology. although those are two different disciplines, education and counseling, I felt like Trent really gave me the foundation that I needed to be successful in a graduate program in general, but also in a program that works with people and helps people, right? So I do my permanent job as a teacher, as a special ed teacher during the day, and in the evenings, I'm actually a psychotherapist. I run a small private practice where I help individuals with mental health disorders, anxiety, depression, eating disorders, all of that sort of thing. So like I said, I really attribute a lot of my success to what I learned and what I experienced at Trent. The one really positive thing that I think Trent has going for them is that they don't force you into something. If you come in with this idea, I want to be a history teacher, they're going to support that 100%, but they're not going to force you down that road. It feels very much like a community where they help you grow and help you figure out what type of teacher or what type of professional you want to be. And I found, like I said, that I could really take a lot of those skills that I learned from Trent and apply them to counseling and psychotherapy, and broaden, my scope of practice and what I do as a professional. I also think that the placements at Trent are quite diverse. For example, I got to do an alternative studies placement with the Special Olympics. And the Special Olympics is something that I had a little experience with before, but really not a whole lot. And I completely fell in love with that type of work. And that organization is something I still volunteer with to this day. I'm actually on the board of directors for the Special Olympics in Durham region. So again, Trent, really helped facilitate me finding what I'm passionate about and helping me turn that into a profession. So I have nothing but positive to say. Like I said, the only regret I have is not coming to Trent earlier.
Well, thank you, Justin and Claire. Great welcome and kickoff to the event. And I love the little, just both of you, Justin and Claire, the little tidbits of information that you can kind of sneak in there. This is why students should be participating in these types of events, because you don't get this information anywhere else, and all firsthand accounts. So thank you to the both of you. So at this point in time, we're now going to shake things up here, and we're going to get into our Kahoot quiz. So without further ado, then I'm now going to turn it over to Rich and Adrian, and they are going to take it away with this Kahoot quiz.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Justin, as well, for joining us. And as always, Claire, it's always lovely. So I'm going to ask you to put your teacher hats on and me be the student and go easy on me for this one, because I'm a first-time Kahoot host here. So I am going to share my screen for you, and I'm going to ask you, if you wish to, just to jump in on your mobile or on your browser and go to that address there, www.kahoot.it. I'm sure many of you have done this before, and enter in the PIN. Beautiful. It's good to see some players. And then we'll just give people a second to get in, and then I will start into it.
I feel like with a lot of future teachers in the audience, I'm sure a lot of them are already Kahoot experts.
Yes, this is very true. Okay, terrific. I like it. Good competition here. Okay. All right, here we go. We are going to get started. So get the ready here. All right. Good luck. Your prize is being you and being successful in this quiz. Question there. In the third year of the teacher education stream, you have the option to study abroad. Is that true or false? You have 30 seconds to answer. If you were listening to Claire, she had a lot to say, and she did give it away. So it is in there. And we'll just 10 seconds to think about your answer. There you go. True. It is true. For those of you, you were all listening. Wonderful. All right, here we go. Scoreboard. Catherine is in the lead. How many placement hours will you have during the program? It's a tricky one.
I don't know if that one is actually stated, Rich. So this might take a little bit of,
Yeah,
this might test who's actually been reading some of the online literature.
it's true. All right, 3 seconds. Here we go. Get that last answer in. Boom, 126. That is correct. Well done. Good chunk. Let's see, woo, pushed out Catherine. Sky is now up there, 1922. All right, here we go. Number 3, who organizes placement? These are the placements that you will do while you are in your courses. You have about 18 hours worth.
And Rich, I think Claire did allude, one thing she said, hinted at the fact that this is a little different for the teacher education stream than it will be in the BEd program later. So this is for the stream.
That's right. That's right.
Excellent.
Yes. And there you go. You do. I'm so glad that no one put your mom, because that would be problematic. All right. Sky has maintained. Oh, Maya or Maya, however you say that. Maya, you're just answer streak. So let's keep it going. Number 4, what does Educat stand for? Tough one. This is a tough one. And as we approach the 10-second mark, you know, one of the things that we talk about a lot and that's so special at Trent is that community aspect. Boom. There you go. Education, undergraduate community at Trent. That's right. Oof. Tough. That was a tough one. It could have gone anyway if you're just not familiar with Educat, but that is a very large student body that we have in the teacher education stream, and it's all student run, and they're a fantastic group of students that host tons of events throughout all your years here. All right. Ooh, Jacob has taken over. Here we go. 37, 34. Okay. Question 5. Educat is the Trent club that represents teacher education stream students at Trent University by hosting events such as oof. I have a feeling that a lot of people just went right after that one button there.
When in doubt.
When in doubt. You are correct.
There we go.
And that much more. And the beautiful thing is that the chair of the teacher education stream student Educat community is now coming into our BEd program, and we very much like that. All right, here we go. Ooh, Nat, highest streak. He is coming up here on Jacob. Couple more left. Number 6. What career opportunities can the teacher education stream help you to achieve? Elementary and high school, early childhood education. Okay, look at that. All right, all above. You are correct. Jacob is holding steady up there. Okay, so Miriam, all these streaky players coming into play here. All right, in addition to elementary and high schools as a TES student, where can you complete placements? There it is. It couldn't have made it more easy for you. All right. This does not help out the rest of the group. So Jacob is on a seven answer correct streak. All right, here we go. 8. Okay, 8. During year 1 of the teacher education stream program, you will focus on, this is a tough one. But like Adrian said, if you have been just so immersed in our website and material, you will know this answer.
And Rich, it should be stated that all of the things that you're seeing here are things that will be covered at some point within the program. It's just a question of it being the understanding, teaching, and learning that's in the first year, but you will get all of those things covered.
Yes, absolutely. All right, moving along. Oh, Jacob, what happened? I got knocked down. All right.
Took time to
Yeah. Oh, the streak came to an abrupt end. All right, here we go. Miriam is in the lead. Number 9, we got 2 more. Bachelor of Education at Trent offers opportunities to explore alternative settings placements in which areas? That is correct. And so many, many more opportunities that you can participate in. In fact, when I did the program over a decade ago, I ended up becoming a research assistant for my alternative settings placement, which turned into a job and later a career and all of that stuff. So your alternative settings placement can lead you in many different ways, as you have learned so far. Okay, here we go. Woo! It's coming down to the wire here. Last question. Thank you for participating. Here we go. Number 10. This is unequivocally the best or only set of Kahoot questions you have ever done.
It's a language test as well.
It is. I didn't expect this. All correct. Yes, true and true and true and true. Wonderful. All right.
And no Spanish answers, though. Next time we'll have to get some Spanish answers in there.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Look at this. Jillian, Nat. Dun, 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 dun. Miriam, congratulations. A round of applause. Well done.
Well done.
Guy and Jacob are runners up. Way to go, team. You did it. Thank you for listening and participating in this wonderful Kahoot.
Well, thank you, Rich and Adrian. Rich, I gotta say, I think you've got a knack for this hosting of Kahoot quizzes.
I don't think so.
Well, I do appreciate both of you for helping out with that. That's great to see, and congrats to all of our winners there. Okay, so now we've done the Kahoot quiz. It is off to the races with our next step presentation. So I am going to get this booted up for you folks, and then I will then be turning it over to Kathleen. Alrighty, Kathleen, thumbs up. You're able to see this. Yep. Awesome. Thank you so much. Alrighty, let's get into it. And I'm going to turn it now over to Kathleen. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Zach. All right, so we're just going to go over some of those basic next steps for you guys. So accepting your offer of admission, you can accept on the Ontario University's Application Center. So where you completed your application to Trent, you can log back in, and that's where you'll be able to view all your offers from Trent and anywhere else. And you can accept right through there. A note about accepting. you are advised to accept by June 1st. If that date doesn't work for you and you are asking for an extension, just email admissions@trentu.ca and we can always take a look and see if we're able to extend that. But June 1st is the date that you're looking at. When you go through OUAC, I will say you have to confirm that change in your application several times. So make sure you keep going until the end and you get like a confirmation number that you successfully accepted that offer. If you've already accepted, congratulations. And as Zach mentioned earlier, if you want to accept with us because of this amazing presentation, you can just email admissions@trentu.ca, including your name, the program you're accepting, and just referencing that you were at this reception, and we can help you with that as well. In terms of the vulnerable sector check, we put this here just so that I had that as a little reminder. So as Claire's mentioned, you're going to be doing placement in the program. So after you accept, we will reach out to you as well, but just something to kind of keep in your mind is that if you are 18 years of age or older, you're going to have to get a vulnerable sector check. And that's just a police background check to ensure that you can work with vulnerable populations safely. So in order to enter into a lot of volunteer placement opportunities, you will have to present that. So we have a form on our website that you can take in with you to your local police station to request that. Again, you'll receive some further information about it later, but we just want it to be on your radar that that's something you'll be doing before you come to Trent in the fall. Next. So if you haven't received an offer yet, not to worry. Offers go out on a rolling basis as we receive updated grades, especially this year with the quadmesters and all the different options that are going on out there. We might not have all your grades yet, or we might just not have enough grades yet to send you an offer. So don't worry if you haven't received an offer and you're still in those courses and you're doing well. We get those updates ongoing from Ontario high schools. The next update we'll receive will be this week and next week. So they are constantly coming in. So as we get that, we reevaluate and send offers on a rolling basis. Remaining admission decisions will go out to Ontario high school applicants by May 27th. So that's sort of the main day to remember. Next slide, please. And one thing to kind of add to that, yeah, May 27th, is that if you are upgrading and doing summer school, that's okay too. So we just want you to let us know. So let us know by completing the intention to upgrade form, which is on your My Trent portal. So back when you applied, you would have received an email from Trent and usually a postcard acknowledging your acceptance and directing you to what we call the applicant portal. So trentu.ca/mytrent. And once you log in, it's under the academics tab. And a fun note about that My Trent portal is that after you accept your offer, that will become your hub of all activity Trent. So that's where you'll find all sorts of forms as well as registration, how to register for your courses, and that's how you're going to access your courses. So it becomes, second nature to be logging into that My Trent portal. In terms of upgrading, you might be upgrading because your average might be a little bit below our minimum and you want to get to that 75% or higher so that we can admit you into the stream. Totally understandable. And we encourage you to do that if that's something that you want to do. But you can also upgrade for higher scholarship potential. So scholarships at Trent start at 80%. So obviously if you're getting close to that and you really, think that just that one more course can push you above or into the next scholarship bracket, then by all means go for it. Just let us know that you're upgrading so we know that there's new grades coming. And the deadline to submit official final marks for upgrades is August 27th. So right before the start of classes. So you do have time if that's something that you're thinking of for this summer. Can you defer your acceptance? So a deferral is essentially just asking us to take that offer and hold on to it and give it back to you next year. Obviously, there's been a lot of unknowns going on in the world these days. So if maybe you're thinking that a year in between high school and university is for you, or there's a reason, another reason that you just don't think that you're going to be able to make it work and come to Trent this fall, but are still very interested, you can use the deferral request form, again, on the My Trent portal under that academics tab to request a deferral. In the conditions of a deferral are really that you have to have accepted your offer. So you have to accept first on OUAC in order to request the deferral. And then those deferral requests will be confirmed in June or July once we've received your final grades. So you do still have to wrap up what you're doing, and you still need to meet the conditions of your offer to have it deferred for another year. So this is just a friendly reminder. Know your student number and email. Your Trent identification number is now your official Trent student number. Once you accept your offer, that applicant ID that most likely started in 07, I don't know if we're at 08 yet, but 07, that's your student ID. So that's something that you're going to want to keep handy, especially if you're calling into Trent or you're trying to get some information. That's usually the first question that they're going to ask you is, what is your Trent ID number? So just a reminder to keep that close and remember that. Your Trent email will activate in mid-June, and then an email, it's like a little Gmail mailbox icon, will appear in your My Trent portal. And then that is again sort of your main line to communicate with Trent and your faculty, any profs. Folks want you to connect with us through that Trent portal. It's a way of identifying you, making sure that you are who you say you are. So that's going to be kind of your primary contact. And it's just your username at trentu.ca. So you already have your username from setting up your My Trent portal. Most of the time, they're your first name and your last name, or your first initial and your last name. So they tend to be pretty easy to remember, but yeah, you're going to have that Trent email soon. Once your email is activated, yeah, again, it's just that's how you're going to be connecting with everyone. Next. Very, very good reminder. So check your deadlines. Tuition and fees, all of that is right around the corner. There's a $500 tuition deposit due on June 15th. That's your first financial commitment to Trent University. So you have until June 15th to really make sure that this is going to be the good fit for you. And at that point, you are asked to make that financial commitment. That $500 goes towards your tuition. So really, it's just that advance payment to let us know that you're committed to Trent. The first installment of tuition will be due August 27th, and the second and final installment is due January 7th. So those are kind of your two times your tuition is split up between those two dates. And then for OSAP, if you are an OSAP applicant, those dates get postponed by about a month, because if you're applying to OSAP, that money doesn't become available until after those deadlines that we have stated there. So if you apply to OSAP, which I believe the application opens in May, unless it's already open. Zach, you can correct me there if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it opens in May. If you are applying to OSAP, and yeah, in that situation, that $500 tuition deposit is still due in June, so that is separate. But your other tuition installments will be pushed back because OSAP arrives a little later, and OSAP will actually, you can set it up so that they just pay Trent first, and then the rest of the funding that you're eligible for will go to you minus your tuition. So they set it up so it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I think Kathleen, the OSAP application is open, so students can start to apply to it now if they wish. Yeah, and another really great thing about OSAP now is you can actually sync your OUAC application with OSAP, so they can migrate all that information that's already on OUAC over to OSAP. So it just makes applying to it a whole lot easier than what it was in the past. So certainly take advantage of it, even if you're kind of on the fence about it. You can always even go onto their website and check out their OSAP calculator, kind of get an idea of what maybe you're going to get. And then that way you have a little bit more of an informed decision about whether or not you should get OSAP moving forward. So it's certainly something worthwhile to checking in and looking into.
Definitely. And there's also, there's certain bursaries that are associated with that OSAP applications, and bursaries are essentially free money. So sometimes, it's worth it to apply to see, to see what's there. And then it also opens up those other opportunities. Same with our student works program. So if you want to get a job on campus, that's something that I did as a student. So it's a great way to have a part-time job that also balances out with your education, because all the folks at Trent know that you're a student first when you're in your undergrad, and that's what you're here to do. So they allow for that flexible work schedule and for you to, be able to work around your classes. So the student works program, you also need to be an OSAP applicant. So something to think about if you haven't already. And I think this one's my last slide, and then we'll hand it over to Zach for the rest. So course registration. The academic timetable and the visual schedule builder are available May 21st. So that is when you can start seeing what courses are going to be offered, when they're going to be offered, and you'll actually be able to start picking out the courses you want to take and creating these potential schedules. So the VSB, the Visual Schedule Builder, does that. You can actually just plunk in the courses that you want to register for. It will generate the different options based on when these courses are going to be offered, and it will come up with some different timetables for you. Just a note to age myself, we used to do this on paper, okay? We used to have a blank timetable and we have to fill it in all the sections of when those courses were gonna be. But now technology has helped us out, and you can just generate those different options with just the click of your mouse. So those become available in May. It gives you lots of time to kind of play around and see what's out there. The course calendar will become available mid to late May, and course registration will open up mid to late June. So for new students coming right out of high school, there's sort of a typical date where registration opens. And there's online resources available at trentu.ca/advising. Just a note about course registration for the stream students. So sometimes folks are a little just not sure what they need to register in. And Claire kind of mentioned this before, but the main courses that you're going to need as a teacher education stream student are the Education 1010 and Education 1020. Those courses are offered, one in the fall and one in the winter. And then you'll have 4 other courses that you can choose to fill in the rest of your schedule. So that's where you want to start thinking about, what areas are you really interested in? What areas have you been successful in the past? And maybe what you're just really excited to learn about. Maybe you haven't taken a gender studies course before and you want to see what that's about. So if you go to the academic calendar, trentu.ca/calendar, you can read all of the course descriptions of all of the courses offered at Trent. It's a very large document to get through if you're looking for some summer reading, but pretty much every discipline has an introductory level course. So that's where you're going to kind of start exploring and building up your schedule to really fit what you're interested in at Trent. Over to you, Zach.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Kathleen, for that great information on admissions and on course registration. Again, all of those little tidbits of information, like that OSAP recipient can do the work study thing. Like, again, you're not going to find that information anywhere else but at these events. So let's get into it. Let's get into now orientation. So this is going to be first starting off with summer orientation. And summer orientation is that moment where you can get onto campus, meet us virtually, and start to alleviate some of those nerves that you might have about going to university for the first time, or transferring from another post-secondary institution to Trent. So it's a way to kind of get those out of there, get those nerves out of there, and get excited for university. I also like to tell students that it's a time where you can start to get serious about university. I can remember, and this seems like a lifetime ago, when I was going to Trent, I accepted my offer, and then there was kind of that period where nothing really happened, and then orientation happened. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a university student soon. I better get prepared. So orientation kind of helped me with remembering all about those next steps that were coming up. It was also a really great time for me to start to meet other people that were going to university and kind of in the same boat that I was in. And then a lot of people during summer orientation that were going to university for the first time. I did bring mom and dad along. I was kind of reluctant too, but I dropped them off at mom and dad daycare. It was actually the parent and supporter session that was taking place during the day. So even they took advantage of the day as well too. So, you know, mom and dad should join you for the summer orientation and attend that parent supporters session. It's really great. So another really great way to help everyone get orientated with university. So with that, there's lots of things that happen during summer orientation. The one that I always tell students about is that registering for courses piece. This for some might be a huge learning curve. So to try to get as much help as possible is certainly going to be of an advantage to you. So take advantage of those registering for courses sessions that are going to be taking place. There'll be people that will be there to help you with understanding how to register, what to register for. Our academic advising staff will be there to help you with those decisions. There also will be sessions about, you know, time management. That's going to be another big aspect of being successful at university, how to manage your time. I know when I was going to high school, I wasn't the best at time management, but you know, when I got into university, that's where I was really able to develop and hone that skill set. So take advantage of those sessions that will be taking place during orientation. Also making academic decisions. So, you know, whether or not you want to do a joint major or a minor, do a specialization in your program, different things like that. You know, those will be, that can take place during summer orientation. Connecting with new friends. Yes, this is a chance for you to connect with new friends. There'll be lots of opportunities for you to do that during summer orientation. Getting involved with student life and activities, so the various different clubs and groups that will be available at Trent, you can start to learn about those and really see where you can explore new passions and new interests while attending university. And then last but not least, tips on adjusting to student life. For some of you, this might be a very new and different chapter for you. So getting those tips and tricks about how to adjust to that new life can take place during summer orientation. Of course, that's just the first part about it. For summer orientation, we will have a variety of different dates taking place throughout that time. So that will be starting in July. So throughout July and August, there'll be various different events for folks to be able to attend. And then also at the Durham campus, those dates are coming soon, but we do have orientation during the summertime for both the Peterborough and the Durham campus. So to learn more about our orientation events, definitely go and check out those websites that are posted there on the bottom. And then, of course, you have, you know, the big show, fall orientation. This takes place during the first week of you being at the university. So this typically gets kicked off with move-in day or, you know, move-in days. There are multiples of that now. And then during that first week, there'll be a variety of different activities and events that will be taking place. Now, what I like about our orientation is there's events and activities for kind of students with all different types of personalities. If you're, you know, an extrovert, someone that likes to kind of be loud and excited and show that excitement, then, you know, there's definitely great events for you, like the Great Race. That's something that takes place at the Peterborough campus all the time. But for folks that are, you know, a little bit more quiet, maybe introverted, there'll definitely be events for you to participate in as well. It's also a really great opportunity for students to get orientated with their college. So the collegiate experience is a big part of our Peterborough campus and what it's like to be a student there. So you'll get acquainted with your college during that time. You'll also have the opportunity to meet enthusiastic upper year students. And a lot of those upper year students can really kind of show you the ropes about being at Trent and being a part of that college. And, you know, those, again, tips and tricks that you'll learn from those students. You can also attend various different academic seminars. I would highly recommend this. I had no idea how to cite a paper when I came to university. So I attended one of those academic seminars and I was able to learn more about that. So those things will really, really help you and allow you to kind of hit the ground running when you really start to get into your academics at university. And of course, you can meet faculty and advisors during this week as well, too. So This will give you that chance to really, get to know your professors on a first name basis, introduce yourself, show that you're very excited about being in their courses, and also meeting with, academic advisors and academic skills instructors to, again, ensure that you are hitting the ground running when you start in your classes. So for the Peterborough campus, that orientation week will start on Saturday, the 6th of September to September the 11th. And then for the Durham campus, registration for fall orientation will happen in June and July. That event schedule will be coming soon. Of course, if you do have any questions about Durham orientation, you can reach out to Chris, and he will be able to tell you a little bit more about that. Chris Nealon is the student life coordinator for our Durham campus. So he loves connecting with prospective students that are coming into Trent and provide some more information if you do wish to receive it. Or if you just want to send an email and say hi, he'll certainly appreciate that as well too. Alrighty, now getting into residence, that home away from home that you'll have. For a lot of students who are going to be entering Trent for the first time, this is going to be a really pivotal moment. Obviously, making that transition from, for a lot of you, from high school to university is going to be a major milestone in your life. And a cornerstone of that can be residence. This will be an opportunity for you to be able to step out on your own and really start to develop yourself into the person that you want to become. And residence can be there to really support those efforts. Also, residence can be a really great place for you and for your parents to feel safe and secure while you are making that big transition into university. Our residence staff is excellent at ensuring that not only are students growing and learning while being in residence, but also ensuring that they're safe and protected while being at residence. So don't worry, mom and dad. The kids will be looked after. They will have food, they will have clean clothes, a bed to sleep in, and a really great university experience, residence experience. So with that as well too, I heard this last night and I thought this was a really important point. The residence experience can really become that, that largest classroom that you're going to be in during your first year at university, where you can really grow and learn. So take advantage of it, really live it up to the fullest extent while being in residence. So of course, I couldn't talk about residence without talking about our brand new residence that we have at our Durham campus. So we just opened this residence last year. So for students that are thinking about living in residence at our Durham campus for this year, you could be among some of the first people living in these residence rooms, which is certainly exciting. A little bit more details about our Durham residence experience. We are offering for a one-time only a $1,900 Durham residence discount for the academic fall and winter term. So that's a huge discount for students that want to go into residence at our Durham campus. Also, other amenities include, tax-free dining, a brand new rooms, no leases, no landlords, really exciting opportunities there. Also for new and returning students that are applying to live in residence and submitting their $500 deposit by April 30th, will actually have a hoodie waiting for them in their room when they move in. So that's a really great incentive for folks to live into our Durham residence. And of course, don't forget that that residence guarantee deadline is going to be on the 1st of June at 11:59. So if you are interested in applying to residence, definitely do that and definitely submit that application by June the 1st in order to receive that guarantee. All you have to do to apply is pay that $50 non-refundable application fee with your application to guarantee your spot in the first come, first served residence room queue. And then as long as you are submitting your $500 deposit by the June 1st deadline, that is what guarantees your spot in residence. Also, don't forget too, that June the 1st deadline, very important for residents. It is also the deadline for folks to submit in their documentation for any additional unique needs or accessibility concerns that they may have with residents. So that's when that documentation is going to be due, along with the deadline for students to apply into living learning communities. Talking about further details about deadlines, students will receive an email with a time slot for their room self-selection on the 12th of July. So that's when folks will receive that time slot email on the 12th. Residence room self-selection will begin on July 26th. Move-in is going to be September 4th to the 5th for the Peterborough campus, and on September 6th, that's when students at the Durham campus will be able to move in. Now, these living learning communities at our Peterborough campus, as well as our academic clusters at our Durham campus, are, what I like to call enhanced residence experiences. So these are the living learning communities at the Peterborough campus. We also have the academic clusters here at the Durham campus. And these are communities that students can apply to live in while being in residence. And this is an opportunity for students to have a little bit more of a purposeful residence experience. Within these communities, students will have an opportunity to participate in various different events and activities that are geared towards these certain communities. So for example, with the business and logistics, supply chain management, and business students that are living in that community, they will be able to participate in certain events and activities that are geared towards those students. Also, you'll be living with students that are going to be in these programs, that are going to be in these community clusters. So it's also a really great way to develop kind of a core residence cohort with other students that are in the same program or have the same types of ideas and activities that they want to participate in. So that's what those academic clusters and living learning communities are really all about. All right, looking at the scholarships and bursaries. So we do have some really great scholarships and bursaries for students. We're actually the #1 undergraduate university in Canada for the past 20 years in the amount of money that we invest in scholarships and bursaries. So one such scholarship is our renewable entrance scholarship. So this is something that's automatically awarded to high school students, actually really to any students based off of their entering average. So that starts at 80%, and as your average increases, so does your scholarship amount. So you can receive anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 in your first year. And of course, for students that are able to maintain at least an 80% average while at Trent, they're able to get their entrance scholarship renewed. So you can get it actually renewed for up to 4 years. So it's a really great way to motivate yourself to do well while you're at university, so you can get that scholarship once again and again and again and again. We also have a $2,000 International Baccalaureate Scholarship. This IB scholarship is awarded to the highest Canadian entering IB diploma student. So it is only available for students that are in the IB diploma program. We also have a $2,000 SHISM award that is available for students. And this is an application-based scholarship that is going to be due on June the 6th. To find out more information about those scholarships, you can go on to trentu.ca/scholarships. We also have a variety of different bursaries, both in-course bursaries as well as entrance bursaries. These are for students who can demonstrate a financial need. Then they will be eligible to apply to those bursaries. Demonstrating a financial need typically is for students who are OSAP eligible or eligible to receive other funding. They would be able to apply to our bursaries. The entrance bursary application is available on your My Trent student portal under the Finance tab. Applications are available at the beginning of June each year, and the deadline to apply to those bursaries is going to be July 31st. For more information, just head on to trentu.ca/financial aid. Of course, for international students, you do also have the International Entrance Scholarship, which I already outlined there, but this is also available for international applicants that are attending Trent. Again, automatically awarded based off of your entering average, so nothing you have to do there other than get the good grades. You also have the $1,000 opportunity for all international baccalaureate students. So you do have the eligibility of receiving that. And again, that is for students that are in the IB diploma program. And then there is also a variety of different bursaries that are available for international students too. So to get more information, just again, head on to trentu.ca/international/scholarships. So as we start to wind things down here, I do just want to make a mention that we do have our virtual tours that are coming up at 8:30 today. So we do have it for both our Peterborough and our Durham campus. So certainly I'm going to want to join us for that. We will have a link in the chat to join those tours and to register for them. So it's an excellent way for you to be able to see the campuses, get an idea of what they're all about, and also give you a chance to ask any questions that you may have at the end of the tour. So don't miss out on that opportunity. Of course, no university presentation, no Trent University presentation would be complete without talking about this great opportunity, which is our draw to win free first-year tuition. So by joining us tonight, you've actually entered yourself into this draw to win free first-year tuition. We have this draw for both of our campuses, so both for the Peterborough and for the Durham campus. What's great about this is every time you interact with us, whether it be in person or virtually, you'll be entered into that draw again. So you can actually get another chance to be entered into this draw just by attending that virtual campus tour. So you can have 2 chances to win this first-year tuition draw just by participating in tonight's events. So head on to that virtual tour, get that second opportunity to win first-year tuition. I also welcome you all to attend these live stream events that are happening over the next couple of months. This is allowing us to dive deeper into these various different topics, spending an entire hour devoted to talking about things like admissions, residence, financing your education, so on and so forth. So these are really great ways for you to learn a lot about these topics and also ask questions about these various different topics. To find out more information and to register for these live streams, head on to trentu.ca/live streams. We've got an open house happening. So for international students that are planning on attending Trent or are interested in learning more about Trent, we have a virtual open house happening on May the 8th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it's a really great way for you to connect with folks that are in the international office, to learn more about your program, to learn more about becoming a Canadian university student at Trent, and so much more. So to register for that event, head on to trentu.ca/international. Contact us, stay in touch with us. If you've got questions in the future, please feel free to reach out to us. We have our email and our phone number there for both of our campuses, so don't hesitate to connect with us. You also have the opportunity to book a one-on-one virtual appointment with us. So either myself or Kathleen or any one of the other enrollment advisors, you can book an appointment with and really connect with us one-on-one and ask all your questions that you may have. So to book those appointments, all you have to do is head on to our virtual webpage, trentu.ca/virtual. If you're an international applicant or prospective student that has any questions, feel free to email international@trentu.ca. Don't forget to connect with us on social media to really see firsthand what it's like to be a student at the university. And yes, we are on the TikTok now, which is super exciting. Alrighty, and that about does it. So thank you all so much today for joining us. This was an incredibly informative hour. We all learned a lot from every one of the panelists tonight. So I want to thank our panelists, Justin, Rich, Kathleen, Adrian, and Claire. Thank you so much for spending your evening talking to students tonight about the Teacher Education Stream program and the other education opportunities within the School of Ed. It was really great hearing from all of you. I know that I learned a lot, and I'm sure our audience did as well too. We really appreciate everyone in the audience for joining us tonight and taking that time to listen to us talk more about the education opportunities. So we're going to sign things off here and hope to see you on the campus tour, and hopefully we'll see you on campus in the fall. Alrighty, take care everyone. Bye now.